Hello third grade, so now we're going to do a print of our animal. So we've done a value drawing, a value painting, a sculpture, all of the same animal, and finally with that same animal we're going to create a print. And we're going to be doing the silhouette of the animal, just the outline. So the way that you start this print, and on each one of these you're going to write your name and the day you have art, day A, day B, day C. Then you're going to go to the printing station. And in each printing station, I'm going to have one light color and one dark color. So you're going to always start with the light color first, and you're going to roll out your ink. So you want to make sure you have an even coverage of ink on here. And my roller here has been used before a couple of times, so it doesn't have a lot of ink on it. So I'm going to roll out my ink, roll side to side and up and down, vertical. And you're going to look at your brayer. I don't have any ink here along the edge here. I missed a spot, so I'm going to re-roll. And then you're going to roll this onto the plate. I'm going to get an even coverage, so you want to have an even amount of the light color all the way across. And then you're going to take one of these paint scrapers, if you want, you don't have to, it can just be solid, to make some subtle patterns. So you can go vertical, horizontal, you can go both, crisscross, go diagonal, you can go wavy, zigzag. I'm going to do some curves. And you have to press down, but don't press down too hard and try to damage the plate. And you want to see a little bit of that white underneath the ink. So this has some ink on it, so I'm going to set it on the blue placemat. I'm going to get my good papers with my names on them. And I'm going to print on the blank side. My name is going to go up. So I'm going to line this up vertically and horizontally with the printing plate. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to gently rub. So I'm going to rub with my fingers across the middle, along the edges. I don't have to press real hard to get a good print. Pull that up. That's awesome. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to roll out some more ink. Go back, and this time I could do solid, or I can add a different pattern. So I'm going to add some wavy lines. Set that aside. Pull that up. I find that with these scrapers you have to go one direction. You can't go this direction and then back, because it doesn't want to scrape some of that ink off of there. And then you're going to take your last fourth paper, rub. You can see I'm getting ink on my hands and ink on the back of my paper, but it's the back, so that's okay. And there's my final print. Okay, so once you have all 4 of your Monoprints printed, you're going to get yourself a manila paper, and you're going to take all 4 of them, place them on the manila paper together. Your name should be on the back of all of them, and then this will go on the drawing rack. Alright, so now we're going to draw our animal onto a piece of scrap paper. So these are just thin copies that were mistakes that I chopped up into the size of our printing plate. And you want your animal to fill this space. You don't want it to be tiny. And your animal is going to be the silhouette, the outline of the animal. So if you were to do a pose like this, a lot of people aren't going to know what that is, because if we draw that and cut that out, it's not clear that it's a dog. So I'm just going to quickly sketch this out to show you. So if you go to cut this out, the shape of this, it's not clear what it is because it has too many inside details. Okay, so here's the shape right here. Can you tell what that is? I can't. It only has what looks like 3 legs. It has some sort of funny mouth and nose, no ears, and what that is this drawing here, which is just, when you flip it over, it's just the outline, and this is all that you will see is the outline on your print. So you can't draw your animal with all of these inside details. You have to look at the outline. So this animal would be much better for an outline because you can see its tail, its ears, and all 4 legs. So then it would be more clear what kind of animal that is. This one, not so much, because the legs are in front. The ears help just tell us, but just the legs in front kind of mess it up. to do the head of this dog would be awesome, only the only thing you're going to see is this wiggly line around the outer edge, and nobody will know what it is because the muzzle of the dog, the mouth and the nose, are inside this shape. It's not along the outline. And even this one is good, but it would be better if it was like a profile view. So you've got to draw your animal with some detail so that you can see it. This one would be good because the mouth is open and the shape of it would clearly show that it's a wolf. This one would be pretty okay too because you see your 4 legs. It's more of a profile, the side view. This one with the head turned inside the body and in front of the body, that's not a good one. The koala here, this might be okay, this might be okay, but this one would be bad because the arms are kind of inside the body. So you're really going to have to look for a pose for your animal to make sure that we can tell what it is. So I can't tell what this is. I don't know if this is a platypus, a duck, who knows? I mean, it's a bit of a mess. So if I were going to draw a dog again, I want to draw this dog again, but I need to draw it from the profile view, from the side view. So I'm going to draw the back of it. It's going to have a tail, so I'm going to add its tail. Alright, so these legs are kind of skinny, but you can kind of see the outline. So if I cut this out, I would have 4 legs, a tail, and a head, and so I guess I could guess that this was a dog. So once you get your drawing completed and you think that you can cut it out neatly, you're going to get 3 other pieces of paper, scrap papers, 3. You're going to put them behind your drawing, and you're going to cut out 4 pieces at the same time. And cut slowly and neatly. And I'm going to make this tail a little thicker as I go around and cut and make some changes to make it just a little bit better. And so if we flip this over, it pretty much looks like a dog. The legs kind of look funny, I know, but I mean those are 2 legs that are shorter because they're further away, so it's supposed to create depth. That's how you draw your animal, and filling your paper and cutting it out, and make sure your legs are nice and thick. If you make them really skinny, when you cut them out, they tend to rip. Okay, so now I have 4 fish that are all the same fish. And so now at the darker color, you're going to ink up your brayer, and you're going to ink up the plate evenly. I need more ink on my brayer to get a nice dark coverage of this dark purple. Okay, so it looks pretty good. It's pretty even. Now I'm going to take my fish that I cut out and lay it in the middle of my plate. So you want to take your finger and tap the edges of your animal down in case they curled up and they aren't sticking to that sticky ink. You want to lay that down, and then you're going to take one of your printed papers, printed side down, your name up. You're going to line it up, and then you're going to rub. And this time you want to rub pretty firmly and all over the place. You want to definitely rub where your fish is or your animal is, along the edges of it, and get a nice solid print. Otherwise you'll get this fuzzy edge around your animal. So when you pull that up, so there. So I have a bit of a fuzzy edge there, but you can still see my print of my fish pretty easily. And you're going to peel that fish off there and recycle it. And then you're going to roll this purple, that dark color again, evenly on your printing plate. You're going to lay your second fish cut out down. Tap it with your fingers along the edge to get it to stay stuck to the ink. Pick up a new print, print side down, name side up, and rub. You want to peel this off. Oh, and this time my fish that I cut out got stuck to my print, so I need to peel that off. So I just bend the paper a little bit, grab the edge of my fish and pull that off there. This will go in the recycling. And there's my second print. Peel that off. Now this time, my fish ripped. Half of it stayed on the plate, so I'll peel that off and throw that away. And the other half is on my paper. So again, I just bend my paper until I can find the edge of that fish and pull that off there. Peel it up, and there's my final print. This fish is going to get pulled off the printing plate and recycled, and then somebody else can now use this plate and this ink because I'm finished with it. And then you're going to take all 4 of your prints. You're going to take all 4 of your prints, you're going to get yourself a manila paper, and you're going to lay these 4 prints onto a manila paper, and then you will put this on the drying rack to dry. Alright, so after your prints have dried on the next day, you are going to get them ready for viewing. So you are going to prepare your artwork to be viewed by others. And so you're going to either choose a small white paper or small black paper. And you could get both to start with and just kind of lay your prints out and see which you like behind them better. Do you like the black or the white? It really is your preference, whatever you like better. I'm going to go with the black. And the first thing you're going to do is write your name and the day you have art, day A, day B, day C. And then you're going to fold this in half 2 times. What this does is this gives you a T that gives you 4 equal rectangles. So then you can use these rectangles as guides to put your prints down in the middle of each one. So you're going to take your print, you're going to look at the rectangle, and then you are going to fit it right in the center. So you want to look center top to bottom in the rectangle and center right to left. And since mine's a fish, I have to pay close attention to making sure I don't put any upside down. So I want to look at the negative space, the background space, the black paper, and make sure it looks very even. And I'm not going to remove all of these and then do it again because that would be silly and twice as much work. So you're going to lift one up, flip it over, and you're going to put a frame of glue on the back. You don't want to put the frame of glue too close to the edge or the glue will squirt out and make a big mess. And you're going to flip this over and put this right in the middle. Now the funny thing about ink is when the glue gets wet on the back, it makes the ink wet again. So you want to be careful when you flip this over that you don't spend too much time pressing it down and messing with it, because as the glue gets wet again from the moisture of the, as the ink gets wet again from the moisture of the glue on the back, it's going to get on your hands and then you're going to smudge your other prints. And when you look at them, look at the prints this way. Are they lined up top to bottom? And you don't have one that's higher than the other. Line them up, and that they're lined up this way too, left and right sides. Now if you have a vertical animal, because mine was horizontal, my fish prints go horizontally. If you have a vertical animal, then you'll turn your paper vertical. You'll fold it in half 2 times to get your 4 rectangles, and then you'll lay your vertical prints on your paper this way. And there you have your finished animal print. Your objective is to create a print of your animal and to know what printmaking is about. And your name should be on the back, so then this will then go on the drying rack to dry, and then we'll upload it to Artsonia. Good job.